sold the digital practice test 2, which was released officially by College Board. So that's okay. Give me a second. I'm just fixing something. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first module, which is number one. So let's start with the first question, which says that the line graph shows the percent of cars for sale at Q's car lot on a given day by model year. For what model year is the percent of cars for the sale is the smallest. So all what you have to do is to track what on the graph and find out in which year uh, was the percent of cars small. So that question is easy. The only year which has the smallest yield is 2014. So that's it. Okay. In question 2, it says for a particular machine that produces beads, 29 out of every 100 pieces produced have a defect. A bead produced by the machine will be selected at random. What is the probability of selecting a bead that has a defect? Okay, so this question is probability, which is frequently asked in the SAT test real exams. So all what you have to do is here see what does he need to do or to find. He needs the probability of selecting a bead that has a defect, and it's already mentioned that for each 100 beads there are 29 uh, beads that have a defect. Okay, so 29 is the result over the total beads. So 29 over 100 is the correct answer. Question 3 says, in the figure line M is parallel to line N and line T intersects both lines, what is the value of X? So here, that's the question is testing your interpretation of the measure of angles and how can you find the angle measure using the theorems that you have had memorized. Okay, so here we can notice that since both line M and line N are parallel to each other, we can assume that these two angles are corresponding to each other. So that is 33. So completing the 180, the straight line, you find out that 180 minus 33 is 147. Or in other words, you can use another way, which is since these two angles are vertical angles, so both are congruent, 33. These two are alternate interior angles, 33 as well, and that's 147. Okay, so let's move on. Question 4 asks about the y-intercept of the graph shown. So all what you have to do is to find the value of y when x is equals to 0. So when x is 0, y is equals to 8. Okay. In 5, he says that the total cost of x in dollars to lease a car for 36 months from a particular car dealership is given by this function, where x is the monthly payment in dollars. That's an important note to underline. So all what you have to do here is to make sure that you know each variable represents what. So X is the monthly payment, and Y is, which is f of x, is the total cost, which you'll be asking about right now. So what is the total cost to lease a car when the monthly payment is 400? So what you have to do is substitute directly in the equation. So 36 times uh, 400 plus 100, 100. Directly using your calculator, you find out that it's 15,400. Okay, so let's move on. Each uh, each side of a square has a length of 45. What is the perimeter of this square? So actually the square has four sides, and the perimeter of any shape, regardless if it's square, if it's a rectangle, regardless, the perimeter of any shape is the sum of all included sides. So since the square has four sides, so 4 times 45 is equals to 180. Okay, let's move on. What is the positive solution to the given equation? So 45, you can directly use either your calculator or you have to cross multiply. If you're not sure, fill out in your answer. So you have to cross multiply. Or in other words, you have to isolate 55, shift 55 to the other side. Using your calculator or using the product sum and sum theorem, you find out that the factor for this equation is x minus 5, x plus 11. So x is equals to 5 and x can be equals to negative 11. The positive solution is equal x equals to 5. So the answer here is 5. Okay, let's move on. Here it says that an object travels at a constant speed of 12 centimeters per second. At this speed, what is the time in seconds that it would take for the object to travel 108 centimeters? So this question is more like a physics question that tests your physics knowledge, and here it needs to find out the time in which the object takes to travel 108 centimeters. So time is equals to distance traveled over the speed. Speed is equals to 12 centimeters per second, and 108 centimeters the distance over 12 is equals to 9. Let's move on. The lists give the values in data set x and y. Which statement correctly compares the mean of data set x and the mean of data set y? Okay, so here that's a statistics question. Not familiar with the term, you can revise chapter 20 in Panda. You find out the explanation for that term. Okay, so comparing the mean of that dataset X and dataset Y, you can directly get it from the given values. Notice that in dataset X and dataset Y, you have the same exact values in each set, but the only difference is 27. And notice that 27 is larger than the other values in the data, so we can assume that data set Y has a larger mean than data set X, so data set or data set X has less mean than data set Y. Okay, so let's search for that answer in the choices. In A, it says that the mean of data set X is greater than the mean of set Y, which is completely incorrect. the data set x is less than the mean of set y. That's correct. The mean of data set x and data set y are equal. Incorrect. There are not enough information to compare the means. Completely incorrect. We have enough information to do so. In other words, we can't just find the mean in another way. If you're not sure of your answer, you can add them and divide them on the number of values given, and same for data set y. Over 5, and that will use to 12.4, I think, and this is 9. So it's obvious that 12 is greater than 9, so B is the correct answer. And otherwise, you can just take it from the set of values that are mentioned already in the question. In order to save time, or if you're not that sure, you can use this way, but I don't advise advise you to use it since it's already clear from that values given. Okay, so let's move on. It says a rocket contained 467,000 kilograms of propellant before launch, exactly 21 seconds after launch. 262 and 105 kilograms of this propellant remained. On average, approximately how much propellant in kilograms did the rocket burn each second after launch? So he needs the in each second approximately how many propellant did the rocket burn. Okay, so all what you have to do is subtracting the initial value from the uh, from the final value and divide them by the amount of seconds at the time. So 467 minus 362 over 21 will give you approximately 4995 and that 105, that's 000. Okay, approximately 4995. Okay, so let's move on. 4x plus 2 is equals to 12. What is the value of 16x plus 8? In such question, actually, it's always there is a ratio between the given values, and in such and all questions that come in such like that, you will notice that there is a factor between them. So here, for in order to transfer 4 to 16, you will multiply by 4. Same for 2, multiply 4, and you have to multiply by 4 also for 12, so the answer is 48 for plus equals to 12. Okay. So here in 12, he says that an object is kicked from a platform. Okay. The equation represents this situation where h is the height of the object above the ground in meters and t is the seconds after it is kicked. Okay. Which number represents the height in meters from which the object was kicked? So he needs the initial height from where the object was kicked, which means that the t is supposed to be 0. Substituting the value in the original equation, you'll find out that initial height is 9. So that's quadratic question. Quadratic interpretation. So let's move on. The given equation defines the function f for what value of x does f of x reach its minimum. So he needs here the x, which is the axis of symmetry. So here is the axis of symmetry, and he's testing here that to find the axis of symmetry, in other words, the vertex. So he directly can use the formula negative v over 2a. So negative 50 over 2a 4 is equals to 25 over 4. So 25 over 4. In other words, you can use another way which is much longer, but to be familiar with that, you can write this in the standard form, which is a x minus h square plus k, using the completing this square, but it will be much longer. You can just memorize this formula, and this is it. Okay, so let's move on. Here it says that a small business owner budgets 2,200 to purchase candles. The owner must purchase a minimum of 200 candles to maintain the discount pricing. If the owner pays 490 per candle to purchase small candles and 11.6 per candle to purchase large candles, what is the maximum number of large candles the owner can purchase to stay within the budget and maintain the discounted pricing? Okay, so the conditions is that it needs to maintain the discounted pricing and to stay within the budget, which is this one, and to maintain this one. So he needs the minimum, and the budget cannot exceed 2,200. So we can write a system of equation 4.9 x plus 11.6 y is less than or equal to 200, and x plus y is greater than or equal to 200 candles, and x is for small candles and y is for large candles. Using your calculator mode 5 1, you'll find out that x is approximately uh, uh, equals to 14. Let me recheck. Give me a second. Six, 2, 2, 1, 1. I mean here, my bad. 17.9, and y is approximately 182. So here, in other words, it's less than or equals to 17.9, and here is less than or equals to 182. So the correct answer, which is, since he needs the maximum number, so it's less than or equal, so it's 182. That's the maximum number where he can buy large candles. Okay, so let's move on. Here it's asking, in the linear function f of 0 is equals to 8 and f of 1 is equals to 12, which equation defines f? So here it's testing the ability to write a linear equation using 2 points. two given points. Okay. I don't have okay, 2 points. So it's clear that we have here the y-intercept is 8 since the x value is 0 and the y value is 8. So we can directly eliminate B and C. We have when x is 1, y is equals to 12, you can directly substitute an A and D. You find out that D is the correct answer. 4 times 1 plus 8 is equals to 12. Okay, so let's see this one. Okay, the function f of w is equals to x6w squared gives the area of a rectangle. So the f of w gives the area of rectangle in square feet. So if its width is w feet and the length 6 times its width. Oh, so let's write down length is 6w. Which of the following is the best interpretation of f of 14 is equals to 1176? So all what you have to do is to know what does that 14 relates to and what does 1176 also relates to. So here it's obvious that w is equals to 14 and the area is equals to 1076. So when width is 14, the area is will be 1176. So let's find where is the correct answer using our words. If the width of rectangle is 14, then the area is 1176. Absolutely, that's the correct answer. Checking other choices, you find that this is incorrect. Then the length of what he switched the choices. So incorrect. The only correct choice is the A. In 17, he asks the circle shown has center O, circumference 144 pi, and diameter is PR and QS. The length of arc PS. Write the length of PQ. What is the length of arc QS? So that's absolutely testing your ability of circles, finding out the length of a certain arc. It's given the circumference and given that PS is twice QR. PQ and PQ. So this is X, that's 2X. Okay. So actually this question can be solved in 2 ways. Let me provide them for you. Notice that this angle is equal to this angle using the theorem which is called the vertical angles. All vertical angles are congruent. And same for the other one, this one. So that's also congruent to that one. Since these angles are congruent to each other, the length of that arc is also x, and this one is 2x. Okay, so we can directly add these values to each other and equalize them to the circumference and find out the value of x. So 6x is equals to 144 by x is equals to 24 by means the length of QR equals to 24 by, which is 48 pi. The other way which I said, notice that this is radius and this is also a radius, and This is also a radius, and this is also a radius, and all of them are equal to each other. If you draw an imaginary line like that, this is also equals to that one. So uh, this triangle is an equilateral triangle, which means that each angle inside is equals to 60. Same thing, 60, 60, 60. Using the formula of the length of arc, which is 2 by r theta, the including angle over 360, you will find out that, and the answer is also 48 pi. Okay, hope it's clear. Let's move on. Question 18 says a company that provides whale watching to states 21 people at a time. The company's revenue is $80 per adult and 60 per child. If the company's revenue for one group consisting of adults and children was $144, how many people in the group were children? So this question is exactly the same as the one we have had solved before. I think it was 5 something like that. Regardless, we can write a system of equations. X plus y is equals to 21, 80x plus 60y is equals to the amount of revenue. Using your calculator, modify 1, you find out that x is equals to 9, which is not required, while y is equals to 12, which is the one we are looking for. So 18c. X is a child, adult I mean, and y is children. Okay, so let's move on. He says the function h is defined by h of x, which is equals to 4x plus 28. The graph of y h of x is in the x equal y plane, has an x-intercept at x at a0 and y-intercept at 0p, where a and b are constants. What is the value of a plus b? So all what he needs here is to find the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. Actually, it's always from the equation that the y-intercept is directly 0 and 28, and the x-intercept is -7, 0, and that can be both from the equation using the substitution when a and y is equals to 0 for x plus 28. Isolate for x minus 28 equal 4x, x equals to -7. So a is equals to -7, b is equals to 28. Add them to each other. The answer is 8. Okay, so let's move on. So here in question 20, it says one of the factors of that equation is x plus b, where b is a positive constant. What is the smallest possible value of b? Okay, so let's take a common factor here of 2x. So 2x, x squared plus 21x plus 104 is equals to 0. Using your calculator, put this equation in your calculator mode 53. You'll find out that one x value is x plus 8, another one is x plus 11, no, 13, 13, 13, 13. No, that's not 13. Yes, that's 13. Yes. So, and here you have 2x. equals to 0. So we have here three factors, and since we have the degree is 3, we're supposed to have three factors. X plus 8, the one written in x plus b is only 2, so the smallest one is 8. B is 8. In the given system of equation A is positive constant, the system has exactly one distinct free solution. What is the value of A? So we have here two equations. We can directly substitute. Negative 1.5 equals to x squared plus 8x plus 8. Okay, so shift 1.5 x plus a. Okay, so how can we find the value of a? So here we have a single trick in the question. Since we said that we have only one distinct free solution, we can't use the discriminant and equalize it to 0. So b squared minus 4ac is supposed to be equals to 0. And solving for a c, and for that value you find that that's a, b, and the entire function c. So using the calculator, 64 minus 4, 1, a plus 1.5, go to 0. So put it in your calculator, you'll find out that the value of a is equals to 29/2. Okay, so let's move on. The function f is given. Yeah. Which table of values represent f of x minus 3? Okay. So in this function, all what he did is that he shifted the function f of x 3 units down. So we have here the real solutions to the equation when x equals to negative 6, negative 5, and 4. So that effect will only show in the y values of the function. So when x equals to negative 6, y is equals to 0. When x is equals to negative 5, y is equals to 0. When x is equals to 4, y is equals to 0 as well. So just subtract from y equals to 0 minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. The only table of values that represent what we actually did is b. Okay. For the function q, the value of qx decreases by 45% for every increase in the value of x by 1. Okay. If q0 is 14, which equation defines q? Since he gave us a condition when q0 is equal to 14, we can eliminate both a and b. Left with C and D, how can he determine which one is correct? He said that the Qx decreases by 45%, so 1 minus 0.4.5 times a to the power of x, and a here the y-intercept, since we don't have another constant that is added to the function. So here equals to 14, and the one inside the brackets 0.55. So the correct answer is C. The graph of x plus 14 is shown, which equation defines function f. So this function f of x plus 14 is shown, but when it's shifted upward 14 units. So all what you have to do is subtract 14 from that function. So this one will go down to 14 units. You can only notice that each function has different y-intercepts, so you can compare the y-intercepts. So 14 minus 2 is equals to 12. 2 minus 14. Okay, so let's see that question. The side length of right triangle LST are given. Triangle IST is similar to triangle UVW, where S corresponds to V and T corresponds to W. What is the value? Tan W. So that's similarity. Triangle IST, I is 20, TR is 52, ST is 48, and same for UVW. Since you said that T corresponds to W, so tan, let me write it down. So tan T is equals to tan W. Since both triangles are similar, so tan is opposite over adjacent. (20/48), which is equals to B. Divide by 4, divide by 4, that's 5/12. Okay, so let's move on. The last two questions in the module. 26 says that 1 gallon of paint will cover 220 square feet of asset. A room has a total wall area of W square feet, which equation represents the total amount of paint P in gallons needed to paint the walls of the room twice. So 1 gallon will cover 220 feet. 220 feet, square feet. Okay, and so since 1 gallon represents 220 feet, we can say that P paint in gallons, we paint twice the room, so 2P equals 220 P. Isolating P is equals to 2W over 220, then says 8W over 110. Okay. The last question in our module says that the number A is 110% greater than the number of B. So A is no, yeah, A is equals to B 1 plus 10. Okay. No, I mean only 10%. Yes, 1.1. and the number is b is 90% less than 47. What is the value of b? A, so b is equals to 47. 1 minus 0.9. Using a calculator, we find that 47 the value of b is equals to value of b is 4.7, while value of a, substitute that in the equation that we have created. B, you find that a is equals to 9.87. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll be uploading the explanation for module 2 by tomorrow, inshallah, because it's 1 on my side and it's a bit too late and I have work uh, tomorrow, school, I mean. So, hope the explanation was clear. Please leave a comment if you have anything that you are struggling with, and I'll be glad to help you out. Thank you. See you next time.